Welcome to the Retiring Club. My name is John, and I'll be your host for this meeting. And I wanted to welcome you to the club and just give you a recap of what we were talking about on the last meeting, just in case you're stopping by. We were talking about seeking financial help if you are the type of person who is in need of some advice to get your portfolio on track or your retirement plan on track. One of the things that I've been doing since I started this channel is trying to give a step by step process to the information that you need to make educated decisions on your investments. Many years ago, I started with a full service brokerage. Back then, the internet had not really developed. We had Prodigy and AOL back then, and there were some investment channels, but nothing like today where you can go into a brokerage account, be it Fidelity, E Trade, or Vanguard, and actually open up a IRA and then fund it within 30 days. And then you need to pick your own investments. One of the things is that if you're a new account, if you don't have a certain balance, then a lot of the planners at these companies will tell you to go out and find your own. And that's why I decided to cover how to search and look for a mutual fund and look them up by using Yahoo Finance or Morningstar. But for some folks who already have investments out there and you're not happy with the performance or the people you're working with don't explain it well enough, you may want to go ahead and seek financial help. Now, here at the Retiring Club, we have been getting some pretty good users stopping by, and they've added a couple comments. Now, one of the comments from one of the viewers was on the budget. We got to have that budget together. You got to know what bills are due and how much they are and how much walking around money. You got to have that because that will show you where your priorities are. And this gentleman, he has a budget, and he said he looked over the spreadsheet that I showed for the entire year in what 2025. But what he's done is he's gone a step further as a potential retiree. He's got his spreadsheet set up with the calculations, so he knows when he takes the money out how much the taxes are. So we do got some sophisticated people, and someone who has a spreadsheet like that can actually market it. That is something somebody may want to pay $10 for. You get 10 times 1,000, and you can do the math on that. And all he has to do is keep up with the tax code, and every year send out uh, some type of step-by-step instructions to the people who purchase his spreadsheet and change the calculations in the sales. It's usually just a percentage. You make one or two changes in a specific cell in the Excel spreadsheet, and it'll redo your calculations. And then you put in some dummy numbers to make sure it's working right, and you move right along. And that's just some of the talent that's out there in the YouTube community. We also have another gentleman who commented on seeking financial help. He says, why pay somebody something that you can do on your own? And I replied to him that some people just don't have the capacity. But he is right. And I'm going to tell you why. You want to be able to understand the fundamentals of the investment products that are out there. We all know about a passbook savings account. Back in the 70s when I had a paper route, I was trying to put a little bit of money away, and I would go in with my little booklet, and they would take my money and they would write in there and initial it, and it was up to me to calculate the balance. Sometimes they did it. Later, we moved on to savings account, and I bought my first CD in think it was 1983, and I had $3,000, and I got 12% interest off that. That was after the Carter administration, which rest his soul. And it was the Reagan administration then, and they were paying 12% on a I think it was a 12-month or a 6-month CD. So, I was starting to try these products. And as I learned and invested and started getting the paperwork, I started reading that. And what he's saying is that you should do the same. You want to have an idea of some of the products when you go in and speak with these people, and you want to be very, very mindful of companies that are heavily based on insurance, like Prime America and Transamerica. I've got a 401k that's a Roth with my part-time employer through Transamerica. Well, Transamerica is primary insurance. So if you got a $500,000 and they're in there talking about, you want to have, guaranteed income and things like that, they could steer you into a annuity that has surrender charges. You need to get money out of that. Hey, you need a new roof. Well, I need 15,000 now. That's They would charge you a surrender fee to break that egg open and get that money out of there. And they also get very, very large commissions. So you want to start learning about the different products. And that's what this channel is all about, to try and help you with your investing. So I just want to recap that, because this is designed for some people who need help. And I just want to make sure that you're looking at the right path, because you don't want to leave a bunch of money on the table in these times. Right now, this is the best time to be investing, because there are investments out there that will make you money, from the safest investment of a money market. I have money market accounts that are paying 4.66% as of right now. In the previous years, they were at 5%. I'm in my third year of getting those kind of gains. And then I've got other investments that are all tied in with the Magnificent Seven. I must have like 11 mutual funds that have either 5 to 6 and possibly 7 of the Magnificent Seven. And when that S&P 500 goes up, so do those investments. So we want to make sure we get the right mixed in. So that is just a recap. I would recommend you stop by the library, go into finance, and just grab a book on the different investment types so that you can understand what they are. Because as someone who's been doing this for a while, and I'm going to be very candid with you, I've had financial people try and pull the wool over my eyes over the last 5 years. So it doesn't matter. If you think you know everything, they are some very tricky people. And some of the stuff they were talking about did not fit my needs. And I don't deal with them anymore right now. I might ask a couple questions on YouTube about some stuff that I might be curious about. But for the most part, I'm doing my own investing, and I've got some 30 odd mutual funds that are working for me right now. And I track every one of them. And that's why I covered the ticker symbols. But in this one, I'm going to go ahead and move it along real quick, because I want to introduce the IRS free file. So the IRS every year will open up a partnership with different tax filers, where you can go and file your taxes if you meet the right criteria. If you're single and probably you're below 84,000, you can probably get in. But what we're going to do is, I'm going to step you through this as a introductory option for you to take a look at if you want to do your own taxes. You can file the federal for free, and the state taxes pull from the federal, and you might spend 20 bucks on the state, but you can get it all done and electronically file. And if you owe money, you can send it right along with it, with the routing number and everything, and you will be good to go. So I want to cover that. So we're going to talk about the IRS free file. That is the presentation for today. So I'm going to hop in and I'm going to try and get through it, and just introduce it to you as an option. Okay. Okay, everybody, here we are. So you go to irs.gov, come over here, type in free file, comes right on, should come right up, and it's going to say free file, do your taxes. And what it is, it partners with a company that does the taxes. And what you do is you got to go to this site. Now, here is the criteria. Oops, let me go back. You choose from an IS partner tax software company, simple questions. It has a questionnaire. So once you get your W-2s, your 1099s, and your 1099 interest. Now, you don't have to wait on those. You can go to your savings or money market accounts and start gathering that information. And I'm proud to say that I have $2,000 in interest income for 2024, which is the most I've ever had. I went and grabbed that and just threw it somewhere. And I'm waiting for all the other stuff that comes in. Now, before we jump in this, I'm going to tell you what I do with this now. I've been filing it for a number of years. Many times I owe, and I operate two businesses that kind of operate at a loss. They really don't make any money. They have made money. I have paid taxes, but I use it as a tax shelter. So I do two Schedule Cs, handle Schedule Cs. And I also have a profit and loss from capital gains, either purchasing or the selling of stocks. So, and that comes in the capital gains uh, profit and loss. So these pieces of software will handle that. So I thought I'd say that before you guys all leave. Now, if you're used to doing it the old way, you don't trust electronic, you got the fillable forms that you can play around with. And they are Adobe files. And what you do is you tab and you put the numbers in. In the old days, I would do one manually, look up all the data, look at it, and then I would actually do the fill forms. But let's just stay focused here. So this is not open right now. It's telling you to check back in January. But once it's open, you would go ahead and make sure you have all the criteria, and then it would have a link, and then you would go to the sites. Okay. So this is the IRS free file. It will handle these sole proprietors, profit and loss from a small business, and it will handle the 1099-Bs. That is the profit and loss in the capital gains from the buying and selling of stocks. So if someone who's a day trader or you're out there hustling money on the stock market for a period of time, you're going to have a lot of tax events is what the financial people call them. And you're going to have to report those, and this software will handle that. So I'm just going to show you. I'm not going to go into them, but here's one of them. This is Easy Tax Return. Now, I was up late last night preparing for this meeting, and about 1 o'clock, I shot them an email because at one time, someone responded, and I couldn't find the capital gains so I could do either pay the capital gains on some stock I sold or record a loss on some worthless stock where I lost my money or something like that. It didn't handle it. So, but this is Easy Tax Return. I'm going back to them this year because they have my other returns in there. It will save the information from the W-2s. So if you get the W-2s and it's exactly got the information in it, except for your calculations for your Social Security and your income and your taxes and stuff like that, it will save that and it will ask you, do you want to use this? And if it all matches up, it'll just copy it in there. Otherwise, you got to have that formula and manual key all that stuff in there in all those different fields that are numbered. But that's one thing about the software, it'll do that. I'm going to use it again. And the other thing I like about this is that as you step through the questionnaires and you do the worksheets for the interest and all these other worksheets in the Schedule C, it bundled it all together in one PDF file. So, and it gave it to me like a nice little report, and I was able to print that out. Now I'm gonna start saving this because I want to start, accumulating more paper. And now I'm getting retired. I'm supposed to be getting rid of some of this stuff. So this is Easy Tax Return. Maybe they'll be back once you populate this account and build your account. You're coming from the IRS website. You'll be good to go. The other one, now last year I did this one, 1040 now. I had to use them because for some reason I had a actively managed account, and it had a lot of little tax events. It had so like some kind of leakage. There was like small trades of like 6 cents, uh, 52 cents, anything below 50 cents, you write that off. Anything above at 50 cent or higher, you round it up to a dollar. But I had dozens and dozens and dozens of these transactions, and it took me about 5 hours. And I used this software here, and I keyed it in, and it wasn't much fun, but I got it done. Everything matched up with the 1099-B that had all of those trades in there that somehow in that actively managed account, I don't know what the hell was going on. I got out of it, and I'll never go back to an actively managed account, because if they start triggering tax events, you have to record all that stuff in your taxes. There was no way to import it in, but this handled it, and it handled it very well. I spent, like I said, 5 hours keying in all those little. I had to put in the fund. I had to put in the date of the transaction. I had to put in the price at a certain point, and then the price at whatever they sold it. And then if it was over uh, at 50, over 49 cents, I had to round it up to a dollar. And I had some $300 in capital gains or possibly a loss. I don't remember, but I don't want to have to go through that again. But this is the presentation. I just wanted to introduce you to the IRS free file, just in case you want to try this and do your own. Folks with simple returns, you can start doing this on your own. Now, if you're the type of person, you've got all your receipts together and everything, and you're comfortable with taking this to your tax preparer and paying the money, you can do it. I've done it before when I had a small business and I had to pay a profit on my computer consultant business. But that was the last time I did that. I had that form. I broke that stuff out and I started studying it, and I started doing my own Schedule C, and I figured out how to do it, and I've been doing it ever since. And that's been over 30 years ago. So it's okay to use some of these professionals, but at some point, you can do some of this stuff on your own if you feel like. But if you don't, it's your money. You're paying for it. You do what's best for you, what you're comfortable with. That's the bottom line when it comes to this type of business, uh, planning your financial future. Okay. So this is John. I'm not going to spend any more time on this because this is a real personal decision, but I just want to bring it to your attention as someone who's stopping by the Retiring Club. And this is going to end the presentation. My name is John. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll be back at you with some new material next week.